Yay. Yes, it is
Yay.
spring, and good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world.
Whenever
How
you're
are
listening.
you? Whenever you're listening. Yeah, exactly. Wherever and whenever. Woo! We
are all in alignment, Cheryl and Anita. And every week our topic of discussion is based on the Feng Shui card deck from Tara Catherine Collins. And yeah, we've been doing this for a long time.
Over 2 years.
Yeah. Good morning, Kathy, all the way from Alaska.
Oh, good morning, Kathy. Woo! So we were just discussing, Anita's just home from her vacay. All tanned, looking fabulous. You can just tell side by side between the two of us who's been away.
Yeah.
And it's funny because
and just so you know, I wasn't purposely tanning. Like I'm not the person that lays, and goes, oh, for 3 hours or whatever.
You're just busy outside.
It was just being outside every day, right? Yeah. And walking every day, probably, 3 or 4 kilometers a day.
Nice. Well, we've had 2 cards come out so far, and it's funny because before we went live, the first one flew out quite quickly after Anita was talking about getting home, and when you're on holidays, you're busy and you're on the go, and she finally got to sleep in this morning. Well, the first card that came out is number 36, directional sleeping.
And what does it say?
Directional sleeping.
Oh, directional sleeping. Ah, good one.
And the second one that just flew out is the number 20 card, fireplaces.
Okay.
That's interesting. We'll see
Hmm.
what else comes out here. But we can start talking about directional sleeping. Actually, we are in the midst of working with a client. Oh, hello. That's why fireplaces came up. And sleeping. Tanya.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
They're in the middle of a house build, so we're helping her with
Yeah. Good morning, Charlene. Nice to have you join us. We haven't seen you for a while. So
yeah, good morning, Charlene. So let's talk about sleeping and the head of the bed and fireplaces.
Yeah, okay. Well, directional sleeping.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. That's why that came up, because I just said to Cheryl, this is the first time that I've slept till 8 a.m. in a very long time. My usual routine, I usually get up when I'm at home around 5 or 5:30. And then, being away for a while, I was up every day early.
Yeah.
And did it have something to do with the direction I was sleeping? Absolutely, it did. And the time that we were away, I slept in 3 different beds, all facing different directions. And so good morning, Sharon.
Good morning,
so
ladies.
Very important, and definitely I could tell, right? I could tell. So for example, I have a stepsister that lives in Puerto Vallarta, and she has an amazing home. It's hard to describe what it looks like. It's 6 stories built into the side of the mountain. And then that's the one I sent you pictures of, Cheryl, and you were like, oh, what is this place?
Yeah.
And anyway, so the bed we slept in there faced, the head of the bed would have been west, which west is okay, because that's when the sun sets. And so you're kind of in tune with the sun setting. And so the foot of the bed faced east. So of course the sun
is coming up
in the east, right? So it was quite interesting, because yeah, the sun was coming up and beaming in the bedroom. And in Mexico, you know, they don't have blackout blinds or things like that. And then, of course, the direction of the bedroom was facing this really busy street.
Mm.
And so I say the sounds of Mexico are ambulances, roosters, and dogs barking. Those are the three sounds you hear in Mexico early in the morning. Yeah, and so then again, you know, we have our best sleep when we can have our head facing north so that we're in line with the electromagnetic field of Mother Earth.
Mhm.
Makes sense, right? And
Absolutely.
when that's not possible, then the next best direction to have your head being supported would be the west, as I just said, because that's when the sun sets.
Mhm.
But if you're a morning person, which I am normally a morning person, then having your head to the east actually will support you getting up early in the morning and getting your day started early,
Mhm.
which at home, my head faces east. So that's great. South is the least desirable location to have your head being, you know, supported, because south, think about it, that's when the sun is the highest in the day and it's the most active energy. So especially important for little people, right?
Mhm.
Not to have the bed so that it's being supported from a south wall, right? Yeah, good morning, Matthew. And Matthew says babies will naturally orient north if left alone when they sleep. Yeah,
Well, they're
isn't
still in
that
tune. They're
interesting?
still tuned in.
Well, and you know, when you think about, you know, let's think about nature, right? Mother Nature is the best teacher. So animals, I mean, I noticed yesterday I heard a honk, honk, honk.
Oh, yeah,
You
the
know, the
geese are
geese,
on their way back.
they're on their way back. And how do they orient, right? How do they know to come back here? Because they are following the energetic, electromagnetic meridian field ley lines of Mother Earth. Similarly, whales and the
Mhm.
dolphins that we saw when we were in Mexico, right? How do they know to come back from, actually there were, the place that we were, there were some whales that were coming in the bay to have their babies. And apparently, this is quite interesting. So they come from, you know, Alaska, they come all the way down the Pacific coast and they get to San Francisco, and the whales decide, okay, am I going to go to Hawaii this year, or am I going to continue on down the coast? And they actually, the scientists say they make a decision which way they're going to go. Anyways, they follow the ley line
Wow.
and they come down and they have their babies. And then once their babies are done after 4 months, then, you know, their babies are big enough to swim back, then they go back up the coast. And how do they do that, right? It's the energy of Mother Earth.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
babies,
cool.
right? That's very cool. Thanks,
That
Matthew,
is,
for
that
sharing
is,
that.
that is very cool. Okay, so we are in the process of helping a client with a house build, and
Mhm.
they want a fireplace. And her question to us was, how is it okay? They have their bedroom situated and designed that the head of the bed will be facing north, but the flip side of that wall will be a fireplace. And
Mhm.
how were we talking about, what were we discussing and coming up with for her from based on that concern? Because I
Mhm.
think that's a great conversation to have.
Yeah, and so we decided that if the supporting wall, because that's the whole idea, is to have a supporting
Mhm.
wall behind you. And so if on the other side of that supporting wall is a, you know, a brick encased fireplace, or, then it's actually going to add stability to that relationship, because it's going to be, really giving extra support behind their bed.
Reinforcing almost.
Yeah, reinforcing it, absolutely. So considering that it's their master bedroom, their head is going to be to the north, and then behind that wall is extra support that has been put together, brick and mortar, right? It really is symbolic of a very strong, solid relationship. And then, of course, when they are using that fireplace, will be in the active times of the day and or evening. It won't be that the fireplace will be being used while they're sleeping. So that fire energy isn't going to be activated during the sleep, right? So excellent, really, compared to, in some homes that we've been in, maybe on the other side of that wall might be the whatever you call it, the utility room,
Right.
That maybe had the breaker box
and
or
stuff,
something like
electrical.
that, right? So that EMFs on the other side of the wall would be really harmful to someone's sleep. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's an excellent, I think,
opportunity
for them.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for them to anchor and reinforce and re-support their marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, that little bit of fire energy that comes through the fireplace whenever they do have it turned on is going to be that little spark, right? Just that little romantic spark, that kind of energy is going to be also infused in their bedroom. So
love it. Okay. And then the other card that finally came out is the number 11 card. Water features. Which is interesting because we've had the fire and the water, which really, when you think about it and you're thinking about the directions that you're sleeping in, right? I got such an itchy nose this morning. It's that balance, right? The balance that we're looking for in our rest, in our sleep. We want to have that harmony in our bedrooms. We want to have the calm, the relaxation. So the water feature can sometimes bring that balance into a space.
And again, I was just in a really watery environment.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And that sound, of the ocean, the waves coming in, is very relaxing. And a lot of people will turn on some music or something before they go to bed that mimics that.
Yes.
The
sound of water,
trickling water by the creek or the river, right?
Well, and we use sound literally to drown out other noises. So one of my favorite features out in the garden in the summertime is our water fountain. And I'm right in the middle of a city, but you don't hear the city noise. You hear the birds and nature and the water fountain. So it's the water can muffle so much. It's such a wonderful addition to, again, help balance that energy in any space, whether it's outside, inside, in your bedroom or whatever. For some people, the sound of water to them is significant, and it makes them want to go to the washroom a little bit more. So water dripping or water drops is not an ideal one for them. So it's a personal preference, 100%, of course. But if you're struggling with outside noises, if you're struggling with not sleeping well, and the rest is super important. Our body needs rest and deep rest and relaxation to live in harmony, to live in that balance, right? There's always a balance going on, and we're trying to find that center, our center. Look at your sleeping. How are you sleeping? What can be shifted or changed around in your room? Maybe testing it out in a different bedroom. So you've just done this 1 month experiment, Anita,
Mhm.
sleeping in different directions.
Yeah,
And
and obviously having my head to the east is
is
way
perfect for
better.
you. Yeah. Right? It's fascinating when we start looking at things like that. We talk about it in one of our programs, the direction you're facing when you're working, because everybody has their own compass. All our compasses face the normal directions, of course, north, south, east,
Mhm.
west. And as has been proven, the Earth's magnetic compass and magnetic lines are actually shifting a little bit.
Yes, they are.
So maybe what was working for you 10 years ago isn't working now
Mhm.
because you're still in the same as you were 10 years ago. Maybe it's time to revisit some of the things in your environment, what's shifted in your environment, or what can be shifted in your environment to help improve and find that harmony and balance in your life. Because truly, we have to be comfortable where we're at. If our environments aren't a place of safety and security, what the hell are we doing there?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what comes back to creating that sacred
Sacred
space,
space.
right? That sanctuary.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, Cheryl, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this yet, but I actually had someone reach out to me yesterday and wanting us to come and create a healing sanctuary for someone who, a young person who's going to be undergoing some cancer treatments.
Right.
And, you know, again, directional sleeping will be really, really important in that assessment because, like you said, when we get into that deep REM sleep, that's when the body's natural healing kicks in and the body can repair and rejuvenate. So yeah, I'm, you know what, and we can let everybody know maybe what that looks like next week. Who knows?
Who
Right?
knows?
And perhaps, I mean, I don't know, but perhaps the the placement of the bed currently maybe has contributed somewhere to the dis-ease of this person, right?
100% entirely possible.
Yeah.
It is entirely
And
possible. Spent a
yeah.
lot of time listening to some Bruce Lipton and Dr. Greg Braden podcasts yesterday. Those two are just so entertaining. Bruce just cracks me up. And really talks a lot about the environment, right? So if you're surrounded by that electromagnetic frequency all the time, it's affecting you. I don't know about anybody else. Spring equinox, for the first time that I can remember, hit me like a ton of bricks.
Hmm.
Who'd have
Oh,
known?
that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, new moon also coming into play. There is a lot of, there's more in the unseen that we don't understand, but we need to be aware of, because we can build a home. We can make it as secure as we can possibly make it. Air still comes in. You can't see the air, right? Energy still travels through walls. There are no boundaries.
None.
We've had guidance from spirit, where spirit has given everybody energy, and they're from all across the globe and they can all feel it. So that tells us that there are no boundaries when it comes to energy. So if you're thinking about EMFs, if you're thinking about outside potential influences, yeah, they can be a huge factor for people that may or may not be aware of it. I'm becoming more aware. The more in tune with spirit I get, it seems to be the more sensitive I am. And that's a good thing.
Yes.
And
yes, absolutely.
the flip side of it is it's not a good thing, because now I got to figure out other ways of dealing with things. But that's all in the learning, and that's in the growing, and that's in our evolution, which is all good. So let's go back, because we didn't touch on water features very much. I guess we did. We talked about the sound of water being relaxing in the bedroom for some people. When we talk about different feng shui cures and different things, there is no one cookie cutter approach. And I think this house design that we're working on, excuse me, with our client is a perfect example. Right? The house plans were similar to somebody else, but we want to change this, and she wants to move that, and she wants this is different. You would think, oh, it's a basic house plan. Well, no, it's not basic. You need to tailor things to suit you and your needs where you are right now, but also understand where you are right now, and the energy right now is going to change. Change is
and you
irrefutable.
know, there are some things that we can do to mitigate that abundance of energy in our homes, if it were the case. I mean, Laura was just talking about when she was little, all the power in her house, the main breaker had to be shut off so she could sleep, right? And so yeah, there, you know, there is some technology available that can help, and I'll put the link in the comments, and it's called Focus Life Force Energy, and it helps to mitigate the EMFs in your home. Let's see. Oh, Mona. Good morning, Mona. I missed the little Misha. She needs to come back to the other Grammy's house, by the way. Mona says she listens to the sound of the fireplace at night, good or not. Oh, okay. So you listen to the, so is it electric fireplace? I'm assuming, right? And so
Or
just that
recording.
little, it's called, you know, it's called white noise.
Right.
And you might want to try listening to water instead of the fireplace.
Well, I guess the question is, Mona, how are you sleeping?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
What are the results showing up for you? And how are you in the morning when you get up?
Yeah, if you're feeling drained or exhausted, or, you know, even if you're feeling parched, right? Feeling really thirsty, that could be an indication that that fire energy is draining, right? But yeah, if you sleep well, then it's okay. But if you don't, then maybe we want to replace that white noise of the fireplace with a white noise of the beautiful ocean or water.
Yeah. So it's always about the results that are showing up for you. Cool.
Okay, let's talk numbers. Directional sleeping, number 9. So that's a completion number. Fireplace is number 2.
Good foundation.
Number 11. And then we add them all up, and I got 67, which is
13,
which is a 4.
Look at that. I almost think I did the math already. So pulling from, of course, Double Digitology, Marilyn and Joy's book. Oh, one of the ladies that is at an event with Marilyn and Joy, by the way, in North Carolina, Bodie, North Carolina, or Bodie, I'm not sure how I pronounce it. So actually commented on Facebook that she's left the screen door, the patio door to her suite open every night so she could hear the water. Made me think of that. I've done that when I've traveled too, because I mean, we're landlocked. I don't get to hear the water here. So yeah, it would be good for a few nights, and then might not work for me anymore. Anyway, the 4 is very, very practical, disciplined, requires organization and structure. It's about paying attention to the details, yet guards against getting caught in the minutia. Yeah, that's sufficient. People can always buy the book. I don't need to read the whole thing. Any other comments or questions that we need to address?
I don't think so. Let me just go back here and have a look. And just we have Kate joining us this morning
Oh, good
too.
morning,
Awesome,
Kate.
awesome.
Oh, and she's on holidays in Hawaii.
She's in Hawaii.
Talk about being surrounded by
Ooh,
water.
maybe some of those whales are going that way. How cool is that? Yeah, so water. And again, like you said, Cheryl, everything in that balance or that harmony, because
Yeah.
we are our bodies, we're energetic beings living in this energetic universe, and we are always seeking harmony. We're
Mhm.
always seeking that to get back into that homeostasis.
Correct.
And how do we do that? We do that by looking at our environment through our feng shui eyes
Hmm.
and creating that sacred space.
Yeah. Seriously. Excuse me. And the fact that we're on vacation, Kate's on vacation. It's a great opportunity to see and just observe. Doesn't mean you have to change anything, but just observe how in a different environment or in a different setting you feel.
Mm-hmm.
So you could create your own little mini experiment while you're on holidays. How do I feel when I'm here? How do I feel if I'm sleeping in this direction? The apps for a compass on your cell phone are pretty easy.
Yep.
It can tell you exactly how you're sleeping, right? And when we're talking about the directions, when you're laying on your back in the bed, what is your head facing?
Mm-hmm.
What is this direction? Not what are you looking at, but what is your head?
Yep.
What is your head facing?
What direction are you being supported?
And it's a great little.
Kate's back from vacation
Oh,
and
okay.
she noticed the difference profoundly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
And so, hey, there's a great tip, right? That when you do go on a vacation, if you know the direction that you have the best sleep, whether it's north, east, or west, then you could ask the hotel for a room that orients in that direction for
Great
you.
idea. Great idea. And we
Mhm.
have, like many people, have a little feng shui travel pack.
Absolutely.
Few little goodies with you to clean the energy, quiet the energy, things like that. Can
Mhm.
be very, very helpful when you're traveling because you don't know what you're coming up against often.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay,
Excellent.
well, good to have everyone join us
Thank
this
you.
morning. So nice to be back in my own bed and um having some good sleep. Good morning, Donna. We got lots of people joining us this morning. So
Awesome.
yeah, hit replay, send us some hearts, and we will see you all next week.
Well, and of
and I'm going to put
course,
in that link about the to mitigate the EMFs too.
right. And of course, all of our episodes are on Facebook as well, or Facebook.
Mhm.
This is Facebook, on
Yep.
YouTube as well. And next Friday, though, is going to be the first Friday of the month.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
And what does that mean, Anita?
Oh, then that means we are going to do a Oracle card reading. And we always ask two people to leave their comments and then we'll do a special reading
For you.
and Cheryl gets into channel and that's always fun and interesting too.
Yeah. So if that's what's of interest to you, you got to make some comments and say that's what's of interest to you.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have a fabulous day. And we will see you next Friday.
Sounds good. Okay. Bye-bye for now.